Wealthy single father sees homeless alien girl teaching his son. What he did next. The sun was dipping behind the skyline, casting long golden shadows across the park. Jonathan Miles, a wealthy tech entrepreneur and single father, had taken his 8-year-old son Lucas for their usual afternoon walk. The boy had been silent for most of the day, absorbed in the miniature drone he had received for his birthday. Jonathan's mind, however, was elsewhere. He worried constantly about being a good father, balancing work and life, and providing Lucas with a kind of upbringing he himself had never known. They reached the small, worn-down playground at the edge of the park. It was quiet, except for the occasional distant bark of a dog. Lucas ran ahead, chasing after a curious glimmer near the swings. Jonathan squinted, frowning, and then froze. A girl, no, not exactly a girl, sat cross-legged on the ground. Her skin shimmered faintly in the waning light, like the subtle glow of opal, and her eyes were a luminous shade of violet. Her clothing was tattered layers of mismatched fabric that suggested she had nowhere to belong. Yet there was a magnetic calm about her, a gentle authority. She was teaching Lucas something. "What are you doing, Lucas?" Jonathan called, hurrying forward. "I'm learning," Lucas replied, not looking up. "She says I can talk to the drones better if I understand their patterns." Jonathan's brow furrowed. Who is she?" The girl glanced at him, her gaze steady and unnerving. "I am Kaelith," she said softly. "I can help him." "Help him," Jonathan repeated, his protective instincts kicking in. He wanted to pull Lucas away, to shield him from a stranger, but something in Kaelith's demeanor made him pause. Her voice wasn't threatening. It was patient, almost musical, and Lucas listened as if she spoke the language of his imagination itself. Kaelith demonstrated with a small, broken drone, and Lucas mimicked her movements. Within minutes, the boy was guiding the drone through intricate patterns, laughing with delight at his newfound skill. Jonathan's heart thumped. It was like seeing Lucas blossom before his eyes. But then reality hit. Kaelith was clearly homeless, clearly different. People would stare. Some might even be afraid. Jonathan debated internally. Should he intervene, or let this unusual teacher continue? Before he could decide, Kaelith spoke to him directly. "I am not a danger. I only want to teach." Jonathan's chest tightened. There was an honesty in her voice he couldn't ignore. "Why are you here? In this park? I have nowhere else." And I saw him struggling with the drones. "He has talent but no guidance." Jonathan looked at Lucas, who was oblivious to the tension, completely enthralled by Kaelith's instruction. And then he made a decision. "All right," he said slowly. "We'll finish for today. But you have to come with me." Kaelith blinked, surprised. "With you?" "Yes. I want to help," Jonathan replied. He didn't fully understand why he was doing this. Perhaps it was the exhaustion of loneliness, the need to protect Lucas, or the inexplicable trust he felt toward this alien girl. By the time they reached Jonathan's mansion, dusk had fully descended. The house was large, opulent, and immaculate, a stark contrast to Kaelith's world. Lucas practically dragged her inside, eager to show her the drones and his makeshift lab. Jonathan followed more cautiously, unsure of how his housekeeper and neighbors would react to a glowing alien child wandering through his halls. "Wait here," he said softly to Lucas. He led Kaelith into the study, offering her a chair. "You can stay," he said eventually, "but you'll have rules. And you can't just disappear again." Kaelith nodded. "I understand. Thank you." Her voice held a depth of gratitude that struck Jonathan. Over the next few weeks, the household transformed. Kaelith taught Lucas not only about drones but about patterns, strategy, and problem-solving. She had a strange, almost otherworldly insight that made Lucas more confident, more curious. Jonathan observed them together, astonished at the rapid growth in his son, and something stirring within himself. The boy was happier than he had ever seen him, and the girl who had appeared like a stranger in a park had become indispensable. But there was more to Kaelith than teaching. One night, as Jonathan reviewed plans for his company, he noticed her sitting quietly in the library, sketching star maps that seemed impossible. Her presence was serene yet commanding, a reminder that some mysteries were meant to be embraced, not solved. It was during a particularly quiet evening that Jonathan realized he had changed. He had opened his home, his heart, to someone entirely different, someone extraordinary. And in doing so, he had discovered a way to give Lucas a richer, more magical childhood than he had ever imagined. Kaelith had arrived as a stranger in a park, teaching his son under the fading sun. But she remained because Jonathan chose to see beyond fear, beyond normalcy, and recognize potential, the potential for connection, growth, and wonder. And that night, as Lucas slept soundly and Kaelith hummed softly in her corner, Jonathan finally understood something profound. Sometimes family isn't born, it's made in moments of trust and courage. The world outside could judge, fear, or misunderstand. But inside that mansion, a wealthy single father, his curious son, and a homeless alien girl had discovered something priceless: the unshakable bond formed by learning, acceptance, and love. And Jonathan knew that no matter what challenges came next, they would face them together. Over the next few weeks, Kaelith became a fixture in their lives. Lucas's laughter filled the mansion as he learned to master drones, strategy, and problem-solving under her gentle guidance. Jonathan watched silently, amazed at the transformation, not just in his son but in himself. The boy, once shy and hesitant, now approached challenges with confidence and curiosity, while Jonathan felt a warmth he hadn't known since his wife passed. One quiet evening, he found Kaelith in the library, sketching star maps that seemed to shimmer with a life of their own. She looked up, her violet eyes meeting his. "You've given him something he needed," she said softly. "And perhaps you've given me something too." Jonathan realized then that Kaelith had changed his home, and his heart. She had arrived as a stranger in the park, teaching his son under the fading sun, and yet she had become indispensable. He saw that family wasn't just blood or wealth, it was trust, courage, and the willingness to embrace the extraordinary. That night, as Lucas slept with a smile, clutching a drone Kaelith had helped him build, Jonathan sat beside her. "Thank you," he said quietly, "for helping him and for staying." Kaelith simply smiled, a faint glow surrounding her. "I was meant to find him," she whispered. Jonathan looked out at the night sky, understanding at last that life's most precious gifts often came from the unexpected. Together, the three of them, father, son, and alien girl, had discovered a bond that would endure beyond fear, judgment, and the ordinary world. And for Jonathan, that realization was worth more than all the wealth he had ever known.